All right, Mike Sanjo, thank you for jumping on. Transferred defensive tackle for Washington State University. Thanks for taking the time and looking forward to hearing your story.
Thank you for inviting me.
So let's start with you a bit of your story. It looks like you grew up in Keller, Texas. You ended up going to Navarro College for your first year of college in 2021. Do you want to walk us through
Yeah,
your growing up days in high school, how that happened, and how you got out to Navarro College?
yeah. So high school, Keller's it's a city. It's like a small town in North Fort Worth, and then I went to Timber Creek High School. It's uh it's a school. It's a 6A school, pretty big, but it was in a 6A division. So we played schools like South Lake, Byron Nelson, and all the Keller schools and stuff like that. And yeah, high school was a good experience. That's why I really learned a lot of things, work ethic, and just learning things from my peers and family and all that type of stuff. Because I had older brothers growing up that played high school football, so I just ended up running with that.
How many brothers do you have?
You know,
I got two. Yeah,
Mike, I had one question because high school football out in Texas, it's just a different animal, man. And you say 6A. I mean, how big are some of these stadiums that you guys are playing in high school wise out in Texas?
I think the biggest stadium I played in was Prosper. Got a pretty big stadium. I think it holds like I'm not sure, ballpark like 40,000 maybe, but
40K.
it gets pretty big though. Like
It seats more than Martin Stadium. Wow.
yeah, there's a lot.
So walk us through kind of going throughout high school. At what point did you start getting your size, packing on weight? From what we see here, you're 6'2", 300. Is that accurate? And at what point did you become a defensive lineman, and that was your position moving forward?
Yeah, right now I'm like around 6'2", 285, 290. So I sit around that range. And
Okay.
when I started really, seventh grade is when I had a pretty good growth spurt. I was like 5'6" or something, and then I grew to 6'1", and I thought I was gonna be LeBron or something like that. Because I was 6'1", 7, I was talking to everybody, but God humbled me. And I just stayed this height. And yeah. And then I was like 230, 245 freshman year of high school, and then after that, I was playing DN my first 2 years, and then junior year I switched to D tackle, and then that's when things really turned up. So I was like,
Kind of explain the difference between defensive end and defensive tackle for the dumb football fan.
yeah, defensive end is a lot more space. Yeah, so you have a lot more space to work with, a lot more freedom. It's a little more it's a little more tasking. You have to be a little more rangier, athletic, and then D tackle it's a different world in the trenches because you get combos from the tackle when you with the guard. It's just you got a 200-300 pounders trying to beat you up. You know what
Tell you what, that's not my world, man.
I mean? Nah.
You're right.
And so walk us through how you ended up getting recruited and attending Navarro College for that first year in 2021.
Yeah.
You had 40 tackles that year.
Yeah. So I thought I did. I thought my team was pretty solid. So I don't really understand why I didn't get recruited, but I guess I didn't go to campuses. I don't know. My junior year is when I started getting some attention from coaches after my junior year because I had some pretty good numbers and good tape. And then after that, COVID hit, and then COVID they had that rule where everybody gets an extra year, and then a lot of scholarships left, and then phone starts getting dry, and then now you have to battle a decision if you want to go D2, FCS, or JUCO. So I just chose JUCO, rolled the dice, and bet on myself. And then I played a year there. I was recruited by Scott Ivachik. I played a semester there, and then I started getting recruited from a plethora of schools, and then I ultimately just chose SMU pretty early on.
So what was it like to go to SMU, to stay in Texas in your state, go to a solid school, and then this last year they ended up making the college football playoff? Just walk us through your time at SMU and what that meant.
No, SMU was fun. Like my SMU was great. It was a great experience. It was a great learning experience for sure. There was so many high highs, and I remember the first year we weren't really that good. We were just average. That was the first year with the head coach lastly, what 6-6, something like I forgot what the record was. And then after that, things just really turned up with everything. We won the conference
hmm
2024 something 2023.
Yeah, 8-0 in conference.
Yeah, we won that, and then won the conference championship there. Then lost in the bowl game against BYU, and then next year, that's when we went to the ACC, and then we had that CFB year.
Yeah, sorry, I meant last year. Last year in 2024 was when you guys went 8-0 in conference.
Mm.
Yeah, so what was the biggest like learning lesson being at SMU, being at a bigger university against, the higher tier competition? What was your biggest takeaway in adding to your position?
No, my biggest takeaway was that this that this big I feel like there's this big, what's the word for it? There's this propaganda that there's like these bigger conferences are so much bigger, faster, stronger, play so much better than low conferences like the Group of Five or the AAC, and it's really not that because playing
You guys
against
proved
those
them
guys,
wrong.
yeah, playing against those guys and really feeling them out, it's like they're just like an inch taller. That's it, 2 inches taller. That's really it. Positions, the skill position, there was a difference there for sure. I would say that there was a difference there for sure.
Take us into this off season. You enter the
Mhm.
transfer portal. What exactly were you looking for in your final year of college football, and what you took into uh, entering the portal, and what you wanted out of this final year?
For my final year, I envisioned myself being the number one guy, being a starter. I had those conversations with the coaches down there, and there was a conflict of interest. So I tested the waters in the transfer portal, and that was really my motto going into the transfer portal, and that was what I was telling all the coaches that even that offered me or I was talking to, that I'm not really trying to go to school, this and that and the third. If I'm, you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
that's my number one objective going to the transfer portal.
So enter Jimmy Rogers in
Mhm.
Washington State.
Yes, sir.
What elevated WSU and their staff above everyone else?
Yeah, man, the love they showed for real. Like they were really like, on my ass. Like hit my phone up trying to, schedule a visit quick. They was pretty on me quick when I entered the portal. So my criteria, like the schools I was trying to go to, I was looking at the schedule they was playing, like the strength of schedule, because if this is gonna be my last year, I want the teams I play to be upper echelon for the tape that I have to be worth something. And Washington State was on the top of that list because the 10 conferences they play and there's just so much diversity in the schedule. I could really get a lot of tape out.
You're getting a
Yeah.
national tour for scouting.
Absolutely.
And not on top of that, you guys have an opportunity to go to SEC country. You're
Mhm.
playing a home game. Your first,
Yep.
your one and only Apple Cup is going to be at home against UW.
Yep.
Uh, there's opportunities on that schedule. So, what are you looking forward? Or sorry, let me step back. Who was one of the first recruiters that was on you from WSU? Who was kind of leading the point?
Really, it was head coach and the D line coach, of course.
Hmm.
Who else? And then like the recruiting analyst, of course, that sent the first message that was trying to get me up there. And then
When was your visit?
my visit, I can't even tell you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like I'd have to go back to like
Yeah.
it was in the spring semester. I think it was Aprilish because when did I commit?
Okay.
Yeah.
Follow up to that, when you get out to Pullman, what are your initial thoughts of being out on the Palouse in the middle of the wheat fields, but then also with the small town feel, with the facilities that they have there?
Yeah, it was very calming if I'm being honest. Like seeing all these trees and compared to where I was at Dallas, it's a complete 180. I was about to say 360, but I remember that was
Yeah.
complete 180. Yeah, it's a complete 180 from like the city life, and it's kind of something I was looking for, something quiet where I could just lock in and
A little less humid too.
my craft. You said what?
A little less humid.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, the weather here is actually great.
What schools were you also looking into with Washington State? Who else? Maybe the top 2 or 3 that also just came under the cut.
Really, it was UNT and Texas State, and yeah, there was a lot of schools. There's LA Tech.
Those are three schools, or 2 of the 3 schools that are on WSU schedule this year.
Yeah, and then those are really the schools that are really trying to get me. Yeah.
And to piggyback off that, how excited are you to be able to go out and play at North Texas and be, how close is that campus to where you grew up?
Like 40 minutes, 30 minutes. So I'm really excited. So my family could be there. It's gonna be a great game.
When Dylan was talking about the schedule, he mentioned the Apple Cup, and I saw your reaction that you were like fired up, ready to go. I'm curious if you know much about the Apple Cup and what that means to this university.
Oh yeah. I've even just being around campus, and like even today I accidentally wore purple shorts because I didn't get the memo, and they was really on my ass in the locker room. You know what I mean? So it's like I just know it's something that hold dear to their heart, and
that's good.
That's
good to hear from the locker room.
That's marked on my schedule for sure.
What were some of the guys that you watched growing up that you aspired to play like on the defensive side?
Oh, some of the guys I watched growing up too. So many guys, I ain't gonna lie.
Or current day guys?
Just off rip, Aaron Donald. I gotta give Aaron Donald just off rip, and then who else? Hargraves. Y'all know who Hargraves is?
I wish I could. Help me out here.
Vaughn Hargraves. He played for the Eagles. He played for the he hard. Anyways, who else? Ed Oliver. He's good. I like to look at guys that are around the same size as me, and then even just coming out, the detail for he was a UT Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy, that's a big man.
Yeah, the Seahawks.
It was hard coming out. So yeah, there's a lot of guys that I look at. Geno Atkins, tough. Yeah, there's a lot.
What would you say your top attributes are? Like, what's your biggest strength?
I would say my athleticism. I feel like I'm a great pass rusher off the edge on that 3. I feel like I could 2-gap in that 2-eye. I feel like there's so many words to, I don't know. This season, y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna see what I'm talking about.
The other half of that question, what are things that you're actively trying to work on with your game as well? Like, what are things that you're trying to take to the next level?
Oh, pad level for sure. Because I feel like my low delivery is there, and I'm strong. I'm usually stronger and faster than most of the O-linemen I go against. So I have my way with that, with strength and just being able to pop them and reset that line of scrimmage. So pad level, definitely during the pass game as well, to overall improve my power. So when I go speed of power, sometimes I'm a little too high, so I need to be a little lower so I can have that leverage to just be able to turn my feet and get a lot of drive on that. And what else? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that I need to clean up.
And this is kind of a non-football question. We're all humans. Obviously, hey, your job is a football player, but what are some of the things off the field that you use mentally to be right? And maybe like, are you a fisher? Like, what are some of the hobbies outside of football that kind of get that mentality straight for you off the field?
I really don't have too many hobbies. It's either I'm with I don't have too many hobbies, to be honest. I'm pretty. I'm not even that. I'm just like a pretty boring guy. You know what I mean? Like when I get back to the crib after practice, I cut on like the news or some stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, he's got the hunting gear on. All he does is hunt quarterbacks.
Yeah, you threw me off there with that.
Yeah. Oh no, this is some shirt I picked up different. Everybody just asks why I got this Mossy Oak shirt, but I don't hunt. But I'm gonna get into it though. Yeah, I'm really.
Yeah, you got a lot of guys on the team that are probably into that, so it's a
Yeah.
good area to be in if you want to try it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try it out.
What are you most looking forward to this coming season?
Game day. Yeah, it's really as simple as that. Game day. That's really what I'm most looking forward to be able to produce for y'all and overall just make the team better in general. You know what I mean? Just to help out the Cougs.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, really appreciate your time. This got me fired up hearing your story and
I'm
your
fired
passion
up, man.
with this coming season. And I know you're going to be an absolute, menace on the line out there. So thank you for taking the time and looking forward to seeing you out there this fall.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. Yes, sir.